Have an iTube. I'm full of thanks for all the eyes who are tuned into this channel, and I'm full of thanks to be in this space that I'm in currently. So this video, I want to make it as brief as I can, but I want to talk about the value of a father. And not just the value of a father, but the value of having a complete family structure. And I want to start off by sharing a little bit of personal experience, personal information about myself. A lot of people, if you knew me in the world, you would already know this about me and about my life. But if you did not know me when I was in Babylon, then this will be new to you, and it'll give you more of a understanding of why I am how I am right now and what led me to this point. So I grew up simply in a hostile environment. And by hostile, some people might call it the hood or whatever you want to call it. Like, just hostile environment. And as a so-called Black American or African American, you know what I mean when I say hostile environment. If you grew up in a similar space, a lot of violence, a lot of gang stuff, gun violence, fighting, just a lot of dysfunction and chaos, right, amongst so-called Black people. And and in the Gregorian year of 2012, I actually lost someone very, very close to me. And during those times, I did not understand why. Or even I used to say things like the bullet that took his life was not meant for him, or I used to say he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he wasn't caught up in all of the crazy stuff that actually led to his transition, right? So it's this thing where everybody would say the good die young and all of this stuff. Just the culture of death, I experienced that, so I know that. Now, what does this have to do with the value of a father or having a complete family? That loss, at the time I looked at it as a loss, that really shook me. It shook me up a lot. Because my brother was a very influential presence in my life and then in the lives of others, right? But the culture of so-called Black people, or even the culture of the West, or any of the craziness that we see in the world, it really just all stems from us or children or whatever being raised by the system, being raised by teachers, being raised by musicians, being raised by, or celebrities I should say, being raised by the system. And we come from broken homes, broken families, and then we start to go out into society or into the world fully exposed, fully confused, looking for like the fullness or the wholeness, different pieces of ourselves and all of these destructive things. I'm a firm knower that any chaos, any destruction that you see on the earth or in the world is simply due to the family, the indigenous native family structure being completely shattered. Whether there's a mother that's not present or a father that's not present. But in this case, I'm speaking on fathers because growing up as females, so-called Black women, little Black girls are not taught, are not shown the true value of our fathers or of a male. And that's very detrimental because without the male presence, we will not know discipline, we will not know structure, we will not be fully protected. And that's all very, very important for us, you know. Now, again, how does this all tie into that specific loss of my cousin? Or he's my cousin, but we grew up together. He lived with us. We lived together. That was my brother, so he's my brother. How does this all tie in and tie in with me? And anyways, after I lost, or after experiencing that shakeup of my life, right? I went down a very interesting path, and it got me to the point where I realized I could not say that I loved him or that I care for him or that I honor his life if I did not separate myself, if I did not live my life in a way that is completely opposite of what took his life, you know. I could not say that I love him or anyone if I was not able to give my children, my sons, a better chance at living. So right now, I'm in a space where I'm so full of thanks, and I'm so I know that I'm blessed to be able to say that I have actually given my sons and my daughters, but my sons, all of my children, a father who is present, spiritually present, physically present, because anyone can have a child and be there physically. But what about being there spiritually? You know, I'm actually very full of thanks to be able to say and to know that my children have that. Because that's something that a lot of us in the world, especially where I come from, don't have and don't know it and don't know the true value of it. And because I know that my sons have that, I also know that they will never be exposed or subject to that destructive life, that destructive, spiritually impoverished life of bondage in Babylon. I know for a fact that none of my sons or my daughters would be subject to that. And if you're watching this video right now, I just want to say that if there's nothing else to be full of thanks for, or if we don't see anything else to be full of thanks for, if your children have, if your sons, your daughters have a father who is spiritually present, or present in all ways, be full of thanks, you know, because a lot of us do not have that and we don't know it. And especially if you are a female and you have yet to have children, make sure that the person that you choose to give yourself to, or that you choose to allow, or that you choose to marry and have a family with, make sure that that person has the capacity and is willing and able to be a great father to your children and to yourself and to the community and family at large, you know. Make sure that he is present, and also be patient, because there's a lot that can be said about anyone, whether male or female, in our relationships and all of these things. But like I said, all of the chaos and the destruction on earth or in the world is due to our families being broken, completely broken. And I'm saying this to say the value of a father is it's immeasurable. I even look at that as true generational wealth. A true father that's generational wealth. A mother is generational wealth. A present, fully grown community and family, that is generational wealth. We talk about generational wealth, but it's us together, working in our God-given, God-ordained roles, right? So, yeah, that's really what I wanted to come and share in this video. I hope I made my point clearly, and I hope that whoever watches this and whoever sees this can actually grow to see what is really important and what really matters, because nothing else matters. If our families are broken, if males are not able to be who they are designed to be, then our families will continue to stay broken. Our families will not be complete. A family is not complete without a father. Your family will never, ever, ever be complete without a father, because those children will always be missing a part of themselves. And that doesn't just mean, a single mother or anything like that. That even goes, like I said, spiritually present. You could be in the same household with the father of your children, but is he present? If he's present, if everyone is present, that is how you raise complete, whole beings, So, again, I'm so full of things that I've given my children, that I've given myself, that I'm trying to not be emotional about it. But if you really come from where I come from, if you know what I mean when I say a hostile environment, so many people don't know their fathers. For whatever reason, I'm not going to go into those there's so many different reasons as to why that's possible. Actually, maybe I will go into it, because it's a part of what even got me to this point. I lost someone very close to me, and many other people that's close to me, that I'm related to, blood relatives, they're either, like they used to always, the elders used to always tell us, like, especially the males, used to be told to watch yourself, because you're going to end up in one or two places, in jail or in the cemetery. It's a culture of bondage and death. So I have family or relatives who have been in and out of jail, in and out of prison. Family members, people I know close to me, that have transitioned or experienced death due to violence, due to bullets, due to drugs, due to all of these things. So there are people literally losing their fathers. So many fathers are in prison. So many fathers, or people who had the capacity to be great fathers and great figures for children and the community, are either in prison or they've transitioned, making them absent physically and even spiritually, because they weren't even able or willing to be present with themselves and with their counterparts, their wives, the mothers of their children, and their children. They maybe not even had the chance to even get that far to even have these things, to experience these things. So it's a very touchy thing for me, as I said, because that's what got me here. And I feel like no one can say anything to me about how I live and how I speak, why I do the things that I do, why I say the things that I say, why I'm so adamant on the things that on just life. No one can say anything to me because I know what death looks like. Pardon self. But as I was saying, no one can say anything to me because I know what death looks like. I know what it feels like to be like in the belly of death. And I also, because I know death, I know life. And I know love now. And if I were to honor or revere any ancestor, it would be my brother, because I know that he is with me, and I know that he is proud, and he would be proud to know that it's me that's doing something different to change the narrative for not only myself, but for my children, my sons, and their sons, and their sons, and their sons. Like talking about breaking generational curses and breaking spells and creating generational wealth. No one can say anything to me. And as I said in the beginning of this video, I used to think that that loss was a loss. I never looked at it as God's will being done. And I know that my cousin, my family, my brother will be proud and is proud to know that it's me that is a vessel now for God's will to be carried through. I know that, and I feel that. So with him being such a masculine presence that was showing me and teaching me discipline and was being a great leader, to lose even a small fraction of that type of energy is like, no, you have to do something different. I knew I had to do something different, and I know that it's God's will being done. I know that. And the value of a father, again, is immeasurable. I think I'm going to end the video there because I feel like I've made my point, and I feel like there's nothing really to be added. But before I go, I would just simply say to all the males who are watching this video, you are not, especially if you are someone who comes from where I come from, even if you knew me when I was in the world and you're watching this right now, I just want to remind you that you are not meant to stay a product of that environment. You are not a thug. You are not worthless. Like, you have value. You do. And it doesn't have to be shown in a way, or you don't have to go looking for that value doing whatever. Like, you are valuable as God made you to be. I love my father, and I value my father way more now than I ever did before coming up. But I love him, and I respect him, and I value him for what God designed him to be, as a leader, as a guider, as a protector, a provider of guidance, a provider of protection. And to all of the females, all of the sisters who will watch this video, I just want to remind you also to be patient with yourself as you are growing to be more patient with your husbands or your children's father or your own father or just males in general, because a lot of the times it's our own fault sometimes as to why our children don't have fathers, or they don't know their fathers, or that they don't love or respect their fathers. That's our doing a lot of the time. So I want to remind you to just think about yourself and think of what you would have wanted, or how you would feel as a little girl with your father's protection and guidance and just covering. So, yeah, I want to end the video there. I hope that this video can help someone. I hope that it resonates. I hope that it can move someone, as those experiences that I didn't really go too much into detail into, but if you know, you know. I hope that it can move someone and it could touch you in that place, that spot where you just see the bigger picture. So, until next time, guide I. Ahava.